Hello everyone, welcome to English Everest IELTS Task 1 writing lessons. In this lesson we're going to talk about grouping data and writing static sentences. For this we have two pie charts which relate to static sentences. No time, yes? We have a time here, but it's just 1 year, so we treat it as there's no time. Okay, grouping data for static graphs or charts is slightly different from using dynamic data. When you look at a pie chart, there is always 100% which is divided up. This never changes. A pie chart is always 100% or a whole. So the rule of thumb for static data is do these things first. Look at all the groups. See how many groups there are. Look at how varied the data is. The reason I say this is because there could be more than one graph. Yes, so there could be different segments in different pie charts. So make sure that you see that it's the variation, and also is the data all of the same type. Again, this is for multiple charts where one chart could be about one thing and another chart could be about something different, but you've got to write and blend the two things together. So always check these things. For the data itself, we follow the same strategy or similar strategy as we do for line graphs. Here we're looking for sizes, the biggest segment, the smallest, similarities in segments, differences in segments, and trends. These 5 things are enough for you to write any essay. So our example for this lesson is a single chart, which is the government spending in UAE, which is United Arab Emirates in the Middle East. This is their spending in 2000. So it's 1 year, so it's not going to be changing because it's only 1 year. The total budget is in dollars, Arabic dollars I imagine, or Arab Emirate dollars I think it is, and it is in the billions of dollars. Okay, so a footnote here, or a short note, sorry. We have single pie charts, often there are multiple charts. So we're just working on this single example because we're only looking at grouping in this class, so we don't need more than one chart. We follow the rule of social security, largest, transport, smallest, defense, other, and debt. 1, 2, 3. Similar, housing, law, industry, law, industry, housing. They're all similar. And then we have education here and health here. These are 2 different ones from everything else. So we've got our groups. We've put them together with the things that we're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Here we haven't got trends because there are no real trends in this chart. So what we've done here is largest, smallest, similar, similar, different. Okay. So even though I mentioned these things, sometimes you might have to adjust them slightly depending on what the graph or the information tells you. When writing sentences about static data, we use comparison language. Also remember, you can stop this video and read it yourself. So when I'm reading it. I'm not going to read every word. You have plenty of time to watch the video and review it as many times as you want. So I'll just kind of give you my overview. Unlike dynamic charts, there is no time, so no start, no finish. We identify each segment and provide information about it, and focus in on comparison. So, examples. Using the first thing, which is the largest. The largest, biggest, main, proportion, amount, expenditure. Sometimes you will see percentage also. The largest expenditure is on Social Security. The biggest proportion of the budget is spent on Social Security. The largest amount of spending is on Social Security. So those three sentences are telling us the same thing. We're just varying our language, which is something you need to do, of course. How to group your data. In this pie chart, there are 10 segments, so we have to reduce this to around 3 or 4. Otherwise, you'll have to write about too many things, which in turn will increase the size of your essay. 150 words is not as many words as you might think. It sounds as if it takes a long time to write, but you can write very quickly. Or what I mean is, you'll be writing and 150 words, you'll reach that number much more quickly than you imagine. Okay, so we've got a grouping of Social Security, health and personal, first and second things. Biggest, next biggest. Defence, other, debt, similar. Law, order, industry and agriculture, housing and heritage. Similar. Transport, smallest, sorry. This has left education out because it doesn't fit in with any of the other groups. But we still have to reduce this further. This is still too many. So what I've done is I've talked about the biggest followed by the next biggest. I've put these two together. I've put 3 and 4 together because they're similar. Similar. So they will be one group. And then transport as the smallest will be another group. You don't have to do this. Remember, as long as the groups that you present make sense and can be developed, be explained accurately. So this is my grouping. I may mention education, but I don't think it's one of the main things. It's kind of in the middle somewhere, so I might not mention it. Okay, so we can use sentences, usually complex sentences, to group similar items together. So we can see that defence, other and debt are grouped. Why? Because they have almost identical numbers. 22, 23, 23. Almost identical. So let's create some sentences. 3 groups, defence, other and debt interest, have almost identical figures with 22, 23 and 23 billion respectively. Means in order. This order follows this order. Other, debt interest and defence share a group difference of only 1%, with defence on 22 billion, while debt interest and other share 23 billion, or you can say are 23 billion each. Doesn't matter. So what you can do is you can practice writing similar sentences for these 3, law and order, industry and agriculture. Stop the video, look at the chart, try and write some sentences similar to these ones. You don't have to copy these ones. You should be able, the idea of this is for you to be able eventually to create your own sentences just by looking at the information. So yes, you can copy the sentences to begin, but you must ultimately try to do it yourself. Okay, now smallest items. Smallest, tiniest, least, lowest, proportion, amount, expenditure, percentage, etc. Transport shows the least expenditure from the overall budget. The lowest amount of money is spent on transportation. So, 4 examples, please look at them. We also look at comparatives. Bigger, smaller, more, less. Superlatives, the biggest, the smallest, the most, the least. Try and change things up. We've also got expressions here. When we compare, compared to, yes, by comparison, different from, the same as, all these things you can use to create your sentences. There are enough here for to complete any essay. Examples. Social security was the largest sector of expenditure, whereas transportation was the smallest. That is now a complex sentence because we've separated it. Defence, debt and other expenditure had similar budgets, but these were much more than industry, law and order. Again, we've used a conjunction. Complex sentence. The country spent just under twice as much on social security as it did on health. Compared to education, with 38 billion, defence has a much lower allocation of funds. So again, examples of sentences you can use. Okay, these expressions and the grammar needed to present the data accurately and with variety have to be practiced regularly. It's time consuming, I know, but just keep writing, keep using, making sure that you can create these sentences. All of this practice that you do will really aid you on the day of your exam. Okay, you will be given homework, which will be to complete some sentences to practice using structures correctly. We will put a link in the video, so if you want to, you can click on the link and there will be some exercises for you to do. And again, if you like the video, please subscribe. I know I say in every video, but we really want more subscribers so we can spend more time creating videos for you to use to for your benefit. And thank you, and keep practicing.